At one point, women used to drop the handkerchief. And although it's not a thing and culturally the same thing,
Right.
it's like there's still signals and stuff, and you can't just stand there and hope that a guy is going to just see you.
Right.
There's got to be like an equal,
Yeah.
like it's like a dance.
Yeah.
You know, there's a little push and pull. And if you don't look at it that way, that's probably how the relationship's going to go.
Yeah. Well, friends, welcome to this week's episode of The Boundless Show. This is Lisa Anderson here with you. Okay, here we are for our roundtable. I have got 3 guys here with me because we are going to have a frank conversation on how to ask a girl out. Now, what's really funny is back in the day, like not long after the show started, I feel, we did a 2-part roundtable, one with guys that was called I'll ask you out if, and then one with girls that was like, I'll go out with you if. And so it was kind of this frank conversation on what do you need to know to be asked out and to be someone who's going to accept. And so now we feel like maybe we need to have a conversation around how to even go about asking someone out. Because I think there are a lot of guys out there who are frustrated with this. They feel like there's a lot of pressure. They feel like women are way just assumptive of like what's happening here. Or they feel like they've asked a lot of women out and they're just turned down. So I think we have to be honest about this. We have got our great friends, Jeff, Kennedy, and Joe here. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, cool. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, first of all, just general lay of the land. Are you someone who was, because 2 of our guys, Kennedy and Joe, are married now. Recently, right, Joe?
Correct.
Okay, how long ago?
May 24th. So
Okay.
about a month.
So you were asking women out up until April, probably, and then you just were like, Grace, this is it. Okay. No, that's great. Kennedy, how long?
We've been married for 3 years now.
Okay, married for 3 years, and Jeff currently dating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all that to say, you guys have had to at some point ask someone out. We're hoping that this happened this way. And so that said, are you pretty quick to ask someone out? Are you comfortable with this? Do you spend a lot of time thinking about it, possibly obsessing about it, worrying about it, getting a plan together? How do you approach asking a girl out, or did you?
Well, I mean, I can say that I was definitely more of a planner
Okay.
because I like to live in my thoughts a little too long.
Okay.
And so I think my biggest anti-wingman is probably my own head because my brain would be like, oh, well, here are all the reasons why this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, and so I would always, I would do the low risk scenario where it's, okay, we've been hanging out for a while now in like mutual friend groups and stuff, and I think we're good friends, so maybe we can do this now, you know?
Okay.
So I'm definitely more of a planner.
Okay. That's interesting you say that because it reminds me of a friend of mine who like asked me about this girl one time and I was like, oh, totally. Just ask her out. And then I find out that he had via social like crafted this whole relationship with her that in his head had gone on for months. And I'm like, okay, maybe like,
Okay, well, I don't do that.
Yeah. Kennedy's not that bad. But I was kind of like, if you ask her out and she says no, you will have felt like you lost all these months of research or whatever. So Jeff, how about you?
I would say I grew into becoming just more forthcoming with it.
Okay.
Like when I was younger, it took me more time to feel confident about it. I mean, obviously, if you're just like walking around and like you see somebody, that's the opportunity almost inevitably that is either going to pass you by or not. But with like a friends group or something, I think even still to this day, I would be a little bit more planner like, but not always. I mean, I would say for the most part, whether this sounds cliche or not, I think most guys just need to try to like go for it. That'd probably be like my main thing that I will probably say today is I think that's part of the problem is most people just think something bad's going to happen. And I was there. I felt that very, very strongly when I was a young kid. It was, oh my gosh, I'm going to get rejected, whatever's going on through your head. And it's like really at the end of the day, you're going to be in a worse spot by not doing anything.
Okay.
Almost inevitably.
Yeah. Interesting. Joe, how about you?
Well, I've always been a just go for it kind of guy.
Okay.
There's not a lot of planning. I don't know if that's good or bad involved in that process.
Well, we'll find out because we're going to ask you for crash and burn stories for sure. So,
It's like, hey, you want to go out? Oh, what's your name, by the way?
Yeah. Well, the least they can do is say no, right? That's
Yeah.
how,
Right.
how I
right.
grew up thinking. So
That is so true. Okay. What would you say, like thinking whether, recent past or Jeff, as you said, you feel like you've grown into this, what would you say was your single biggest hurdle maybe for relationships in general, for any particular girl you can think of? Like if there was any hesitation, what would you have to get over to say, I'm going to pull the trigger and make this happen?
Honestly, I think it's kind of like going to the dentist in a way. And let me explain that.
Oh yeah, please do. 'Cause all the women are like, that's awesome.
Where it's this thing that, if you want this thing to happen, if you want your teeth to be cleaned in this metaphor, you have to go through the anxiety of actually setting up the appointment and then sitting in the waiting room and you're like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And then you get there and it's like, okay, that wasn't that bad. And I think going back to what I said earlier, one of the issues that I had to overcome was this feeling in asking the girl out that this is going to just crash and burn Hindenburg disaster, And I had those moments where the girl said, no, I'm not really looking for anyone right now or something. It wasn't ever like, I'm going to spray you with pepper spray,
Yeah.
But I think that, like I said, I think that's where my head tended to go is just like, what is the worst case scenario? Therefore, that's the most likely scenario. And so that's something that I had to get over.
Yeah. No, that's good.
As far as asking somebody out, it was just more, when I was younger, knowing what to say made me think about it too much at times.
Yeah.
And it really is pretty simple, but it's at the same time, right when the moment's in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait, like other than hello, my name is, it's like, what am I going to talk about, and stuff. And just becoming more aware of your surroundings as well as just generally confident. As simplistic as that sounds, was the easiest way to kind of get over that because, Joe, you just mentioned just go for it.
yeah.
As easy as that can seem, the more I did that, the easier it was to just talk naturally, like we're doing right now, instead of like, oh, I have to have this specific thing to say.
Sure.
It could literally be something on the menu at the coffee shop, and like, hey, have you ever been here before?
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it opens the door, and then as long as she's kind of giving you some signals. Which hopefully we can talk about the female signal thing later. But
No, that's great.
Yeah. I always felt like you had to rehearse the lines and you had to script it out, what I'm going to say, how I'm going
Because
to ask
that's
her.
natural. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then I watched Back to the Future,
Okay.
and when Marty McFly's, what's his name? Who's Marty McFly's dad?
Oh, good.
Oh
long
gosh,
since
that's
I've
been
seen
too
it.
long.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
What's his name?
Well,
He goes up to Lorraine and he's like, "You are my density,"
Okay.
because his paper says "You are my destiny," and he misreads it because he's in front of the girl asking her out. He gets so nervous.
Yeah.
So I learned, don't rehearse your lines. Just
Okay.
make it natural.
Yes.
Well, what about this? Okay, too, this is kind of bouncing off of Kennedy's point. Like, do you overthink, like, where this could go or what her response could be or how far out do you chart? Because here, let me give you an example. I feel like I've talked to guys who don't want to ask a girl out because they're like, well, what if she turns me down and then word gets around that I'm like this player, or she's going to tell her friends, or it's going to be, and all of a sudden you've crafted this whole narrative that hasn't happened,
yeah.
but could happen. I mean, I know women, okay, ladies, let's be honest. But let's just like talk about some of that, of like projecting to worst case scenarios of what could this do to your friend group? What could this do to your reputation? All those kind of weirdnesses.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I guess the planner of the group, I have to always concede that eventually the pre-scripted lines run out, and eventually you have to have a very natural conversation.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been planning my conversations with my wife for the last 3 years.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
probably a good thing.
at some
Page
point,
blank.
Yeah.
at some point I took off the training wheels.
Okay.
That was like 1 year ago, I think. No.
Okay. Yeah.
But-
Good.
But so for a guy, I think part of the reality is kind of like the baby bird jumping out of the nest, where at some point you just have to test the water, and you have to jump, and you have to accept that, these things in your head, the only way you're gonna get over them is through trial by fire sometimes, and other times by hopefully having a good guy around you who's going to be like, dude, that's not going to happen. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have too much more to add to that. I think it just, yeah, I would just agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Truthfully.
It's just, yeah, it's just like saying, like, regardless of where this could go or what could
Yeah.
happen, or people will talk, or, you know,
Yeah.
again, people are sinful. So there's always going to be some kind of weirdness. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good. Good
I don't
point.
have anything to add to that either.
Okay. Okay. So then my next question is, let's just talk straight practical how-to steps. Like, help the guy who feels like he has in his head he's going to come across like some kind of Hollywood actor and be super confident and super amazing, and then he tries it once and that does not happen. And he feels like, I don't know what to do. Like, how, kind of, you know, Jeff, to your point, what do you say? Like, what works? I mean, are there things that have bombed with you? Are there things that have helped? Or do you try to like overplay casualness? Or, I mean, how do you make it sound natural? And is there anything in particular that you should say to not be full-time Creeperville?
Oof. Yeah, this is a loaded one.
Yeah.
I'll start. I think this will be fun if we kind of bounce off each other with this one.
Yeah.
But I think the way that you approach like your energy is one of the most important pieces, and it takes some practice to do that. Like I used to stutter my words way more than I do now. Like I still have it a little bit, you know. I don't, who knows why, but that would of course exacerbate when this situation would be in front of me. And as long as, like, if you kind of go into it with a deep breath and go, okay, like nothing really bad is going to happen almost inevitably here. And if I'm calm with my words, it's easier to just speak normally. And if you do that, a little momentum starts to kind of go your way versus trying to like figure out what's the next like thing to say. And I would just, the only other real like major piece of advice I would give is just try not to like pick up line and just try to relate to something that's going on.
Yeah.
Even if it's randomly. Like I've asked girls out in public and there was nothing but like the weather.
Okay.
And like, I mean, I tried that one time and it worked because
Okay.
I just randomly came up to the girl. I think she saw that more than I came up with this line.
Yeah. Yeah. And she knew you were reliable about the weather. So that's good. I mean,
Right.
if anything, you're going to
Yes.
know what is appropriate clothing
Yeah.
for the situation.
Well, I think doing it in person, like you said, is pretty big.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
easy
True.
to hide behind social media and your phone and to create this fake version of yourself so that when you go on a date with a girl or you ask a girl out on a date and you get that far, it's a little off-putting. It's a little weird because now it feels like there's this expectation that's really high and you're auditioning in a way to date the girl. It's like, you're not on The Bachelor. It's not America's Got Talent. This is a conversation with a girl.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually brought this question to my wife to see what she would say for the guy to do. And I think the top thing that she had mentioned is that she says, don't play up how awkward it is. It's always going to be a little awkward because you're putting yourself out there on the line. The issue is if as a guy you just keep harping on how awkward it is. Oh, like I'm so sorry. Ooh, so I didn't.
Yeah.
And
I never do
she
this.
was like, yeah, I think that's really unattractive.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that all guys should keep in mind. You know, it's just you're already putting yourself out on a limb. Don't
I know that.
don't cut the branch off behind you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So let me throw out something that I feel like women say here at Boundless about every 3 seconds, and or at my church or whatever, and it's some version of, well, I'm so frustrated because guys just aren't asking me out, or why don't Christian guys ever ask women out? Like they're not even willing to say anything, and I've had to ask guys out and all this stuff, and there's just this assumption that guys aren't asking anyone out, but maybe they mean just them in particular. So let's talk a little bit about help the ladies out.
Yep.
Let's talk about vibes. Let's talk about locations. Let's talk about approachability. What would up their chances of being someone that a guy would say, hey, you know, whether he met her recently or whether she's in his small group or whatever, might make her more ask outable.
I think the girls are right. I don't think guys are asking them out.
Yeah.
It's more of this, hey, do you want to grab coffee? And then awkward, like stare at you for 10 seconds
Yeah.
until you answer. It's not a clear upfront answer. It's not a clear upfront, hey, would you like to go out on a date?
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I've heard any guy ask.
Yeah. And
It's
use the
that
word date.
weird thing about like defining the relationship. I never grew up hearing about that. I'm just like, wait, how did you guys not know what this was at this point?
Right. Yeah.
Well, like define the relationship on the first date. Like what in the world? What are we doing? Like personality tests and, that's, it seems like it's like all or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I completely agree. I do think that, I mean, there are a lot of things playing into it, but I do think one of the issues is that I think right now we're in a cultural moment where men are deciding whether or not they want to be leaders, because there's a lot more, I think, in our culture nowadays that kind of allows men to just kind of slack off more so than in previous generations. And with that, I think comes this issue that guys really have to deal with, is if biblically it says that the man should be a leader in his marriage, and you are pursuing this woman, hopefully that one day you guys might get married. I know that's looking really far, so don't be bringing that up on the first date.
Yeah.
But eventually this either ends up in marriage or breaking up or not going out on a first date at all. And so the idea for, I think, that all guys need to really think about is, if you can't even lead in regards to asking her out on a date, then maybe you should really be working on that before you even start asking people out.
That's good.
I would say, like, if you look at it with like a couple hands, like one, the cultural reference I think is good. And I think there's definitely two sides to it. There's a lot of equalizing of gender across the board in many different facets, and it's like, however we want to look at that, without trying to take sides, it's like now people have different, almost like roles. Like it's hard. Like there's a lot of women that are too masculine, and that's not an attractive quality. And some of them have been forced. We could list a bunch of things, like not to demonize anybody, but like that it's not as attractive to go towards women that are already basically taking that role, and then somehow we're supposed to like go above that, and we're just like an average person that maybe has never even been taught how to do that. And so I think then it comes like from a even church leadership role. It's like we never talk about this stuff, and men they just wake up at 18, and we're just supposed to be these people that all of a sudden know all these things. And then anyway, I could say a bunch more, but I think that needs to be addressed. And then at the same time, there's the other hand of where you sometimes just need to kind of grow a pair. If you need to cut that out, you can. But like I think some like there's a reality to just at some point, if you want this, you want to get married and have kids. It's like, well, you do, like at the very least in the beginning, like suck it up and start to learn how to do that. But I just don't think it should be all on the guy.
Right.
So at one point, women used to drop the handkerchief, and although it's not a thing and culturally the same thing, it's like there's still signals and stuff, and you can't just stand there and hope that a guy's gonna just see you.
Right.
There's got to be like an equal. Yeah. Like it's like a dance.
Yeah.
There's a little push and pull, and if you don't look at it that way, that's probably how the relationship's gonna go.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, that's good. Joe, it reminded me when you were talking about like this coffee date idea of like, even if a guy says, and maybe this is my advice to some of the guys, where, yes, I say this all the time at Boundless, call it a date, be very clear about what this is. I mean, the amount of time people live in ambiguity and are just aging because they're not willing to say what they want and what they're hopeful for.
Yeah.
That said, if some guy asks you to grab coffee, go, and guys, pay for her coffee. Like how many women I know are going out with these guys in these nondescript hangouts. And I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity for a guy who's a little skittish to like get the coffee, which is already a power move. And then it's like, then you could say, hey, I'd love to do this again. Or then, because now you're moving into date territory. And so you can almost use your weirdo passivity, whatever, guys, and use it to your advantage by moving that forward. I think it's just helpful.
Yeah.
No, and what I think it's a great way to look at it, because I've always, back when I was in college and I had some guys who were in my Bible study, I would always tell them, it's like, hey, if you want to date someone, why are you acting like the first date is the freakiest? It's not, the first date isn't the scariest date. It's the second date, because then you have to go back and say, hey, I liked you enough that I would like to go again. And so I always tell them, it's like, hey, that first date, it doesn't have to be something super intense. Ask her out to go get a drink or something and I mean coffee, specifically for our Baptist friends.
Okay. Yeah, please don't write to me, y'all, about Kennedy's coming. I'll give you his contact info. All right.
But ask him to go get coffee or a soda or something, and just go hang out if you're in college, at the student center, or if you're non-college, at some local place that has a bunch of people around that makes her feel comfortable, because she's also going out on a limb, potentially, putting herself out there with a guy who she doesn't completely know. That first date should be all about just, hey, let's see if we click. There's a huge difference, I think, that a lot of people seem to miss between being friends and being in a relationship. In that, I've been on a date with a girl, for instance, where we were friends for a while, and we decided, hey, let's go on a date. And we go on a date, and during the date, we're just like, this is really awkward, And we both kind of came away from that realizing, no, we're better as friends, And it wasn't that the first date was like, oh, now that we went on the date, we can't ever be friends again. It was more of the idea that, okay, we have attempted this kind of, I guess, life transition. That feels a bit dramatic, but I don't know what else to call it.
Paints a picture.
And we tried it, and it didn't work, but that was fine. But when I go and I want to ask for the second date, that's when I think the girl should know at that point, okay, I'm actually interested in pursuing this on a more romantic level.
That's good. What do you do for, so I'm going to give advice to women here, and I've given it on the show before, and that is, ladies, if you want to be asked out, if you want to be singled out and make it easier for guys, stop traveling around with all of your girlfriends like a pack of jackals that some guy is going to have to bust into and like really take a bigger risk than if he could at one point find you alone and do the ask. But that said, if a guy is saying, I want to ask this girl out, but she's always like hanging out with people at church, or she's always serving somewhere, or she's always with her friends, or she's always, what would be your advice to guys to kind of break through that or find a way to ask her out amidst all the chaos of that?
Well, I do think part of it does come on the woman to make herself open. And like I said, I wouldn't say just go hang out in a corner and hope that someone approaches you. But like, if you're always in a spot where you're talking with like 5 of your friends, the guy's never going to come up to you, because he's going to be like, he's going to think, going back to worst case scenario, he's going to go up, he's going to ask you out, and all of your friends are going to laugh at him. And he's going to be like, oh man, that was a bad idea. And then he's going to leave your church forever.
And the fear is real. The fear of that is real.
But so I do think part of it is, as women, I would ask, please be cognizant of what the guy has to do, and think of ways to make yourself more open so that it's easier for him to do it. So it's not like climbing a mountain. Maybe it's just climbing a hill instead. But once again, I think it goes back to what we were saying for the guys, is to have a little bit of confidence and be able to discern when it's a good time to do it and when it's not a good time to do it. She's in the middle of a conversation. It's probably not the best time to break in and ask. But if you can sense when there's a nice time to go in and ask. So
good.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, especially if you feel like you have to like wait for the right moment, try to, unless you like know nobody, maybe ask a friend to kind of, just be near the area, have a conversation. As odd as that could sound to some people, it's like if you're just not awkwardly standing there, which I have done before, like trying to like wait for the right moment, and it's like, I may never get this chance again. I'm not seeing this person. That's happened at church before. It was like, I don't know if this person even goes here. But that would be, I actually have never tried this. I thought of it later, and it was like, I think that would be at least some option to like kind of just be in the area and kind of wait for maybe body language. But I would totally agree with you. I truly think girls don't give signals at all nowadays, unless there's already context between the two of you. And it's very hard to like bust in. And I've done it before. I've gone up to tables of 6 or 7 women, and it's very intimidating. But you just have to try. But most people aren't going to do that. It is very hard.
Well, I was told by my wife and other women that girls will do this thing where if a guy likes you, that the girl has to pretend like they don't like them back. They have to play, it's this game of, well, I want you to chase me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want you to pursue me and come after me.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of good in that, but I think you're missing the point.
Yeah.
You want to know why my wife and I are married?
Why is that?
Is because she didn't make me chase her. She was like, I also like you. And we're like, that's great.
Yeah.
Great.
You done this in
Win-win.
5 minutes. If the guys are clear and the girls are clear, easy.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yes.
That was so, Joe, my MO for a while. And it was really funny because I thought, oh, this guy, I think he might like me. So what I should do is just be super aloof and even kind of like snippy and sarcastic towards him, and then go like leave. And he's going to think I'm so mysterious that he's going to come looking for me. He didn't.
He didn't.
He didn't
Yeah,
look
he
for
did-
me.
he
He
didn't do
found
it.
someone who was right there.
He was waiting.
He had
I'll
taken
tell
penalties,
the
so,
girls what
yeah.
the guy is thinking in that moment.
Yeah.
He's thinking, oh, I like her, but she's giving me all the signals that she does not like me.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm
that
not
simple.
going to sit here for a
Right.
year
So
and
what's
try
it even worth
and
it?
try and get her, because it's obvious that she doesn't. And I've been told by society
Yeah.
that if you keep pursuing this woman, even when she's giving you all the signs that say no,
Yeah.
that's a really bad thing.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead, I'm going to go to this other woman who is a lot nicer to me and who is
Yeah.
giving me more signals. And when I say signals, I mean like signals that guys can understand,
Yes.
that are like,
The guys can understand.
With that, what?
that I like you.
Like
Not
flashing
just a
red
little-
lights
not-
or
not
flashing.
just one hair
Oh.
hair thing, and somehow that's supposed to signal us over. Like,
Okay.
you opened up the side of your face, so
All right. So that said, last question, and I just need a hot take on this because we're out of time.
I love
but
hot takes.
What how do you want to be rejected? Like if first date, you ask someone out. I know women that are saying they're dating Jesus. I know women who are saying they have a terminal illness. They have, no, not that bad, that they have the gift of singleness. No joke. I mean, honestly, like wild and weird excuses. What works for guys?
I mean,
tell me no.
just say no. Don't take the God stuff out of it.
Okay.
Like we know that that's just
Okay.
Yeah,
not-
I think
not
most
real.
guys don't need an excuse.
Okay.
yeah.
But just
We
no
can handle
thanks.
no.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't think it's a bad thing even if it was a personal thing. If you're like, oh, yeah, I would say no, because it may be in your head you're thinking, yeah, he's not my type or something. But then, I mean, if that's a personal thing, that's okay.
Yeah.
People are allowed to have personal tastes.
Yeah.
And as the guy who is receiving the rejection, handle it with grace. You don't have to freak out about it.
Right.
Right.
It's the cliche, there are plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the reality
You
is
only need one.
that, that you're not trying to catch a net full of
Right.
fish,
Yeah.
Right.
That's good. Good
Yes.
point. You
Oh,
guys,
God.
thanks so much. This is so great. So informative.
Yeah,
so
it was fun.
we'll see what people have to say. All right, you guys, let us know. Hit us up in our DMs. We'll love it.